At millions of operations per second, a modern operating system is a high-speed collision hazard. Separate processes cross paths, racing to identical targets. In multi-threaded computing, these targets are shared hardware and memory. Multiple execution threads constantly read and write to a limited pool of resources to function. The specific block of code where threads access these shared resources is the critical section. It is the most vulnerable point in any application. This diagram tracks a race condition. When two threads simultaneously enter the critical section and write to the same resource, operations overlap, causing data inconsistency. When systems encounter memory corruption here, they cannot recover. The resource triggers a cascade failure and the system crashes. To prevent this concurrency crisis, computer scientist Edsger W. Dijkstra introduced a structural safeguard in 1965 known as the Semaphore. The logic mimics a physical traffic signal. A traffic light manages the flow of vehicles through an intersection using basic states, red and green, without needing to know the origin or destination of any specific car. A semaphore operates on the exact same premise. It is a simple integer variable governed by strict mathematical constraints, designed to coordinate execution through pure numerical logic. This diagram breaks down the architecture of that integer, labeled here as S. A true semaphore is accessed and modified exclusively through two specific operations: wait, historically called P, and signal, called V. The wait logic acts as a strict gateway. It evaluates a mathematical condition. While S is less than or equal to 0, the resource is occupied. The arriving thread is forced to halt and enter a continuous holding loop. The moment the resource is freed, the value of S rises above 0. The waiting thread breaks its loop, immediately decrements S to relock the gate, and proceeds into the critical section. Upon finishing its task, the thread executes the signal operation. It simply increments S back up, broadcasting to the system that the resource is available for the next thread. For this mathematical model to hold, wait and signal must be atomic operations. They must execute entirely as a single uninterrupted step. If a CPU interrupts a thread halfway through decrementing the integer, the lock fails. Operating systems rely on specific indivisible hardware instructions, like test and set or compare and swap, to guarantee these operations cannot be split. The entire integrity of thread synchronization rests on this hardware-level indivisibility. Without atomic execution, the semaphore itself would become a race condition. Because semaphores are just integers, their application scales by simply adjusting their maximum limit. This split-screen diagram highlights the first variation, the binary semaphore. Here, the integer is strictly constrained to a value of either 0 or 1. By limiting the value to 1, the system creates a hard bottleneck. Only a single thread can enter the critical section at a time, enforcing strict mutual exclusion over a single variable or file. On the right side of the diagram, we initialize a counting semaphore with an S value of 3. Below it are 3 separate hardware printers. In a counting semaphore, the integer perfectly maps to the number of identical physical resources available in the pool. As separate threads request printing tasks, they process through the wait logic. The system sequentially decrements the integer from 3 down to 0, assigning each thread to its own hardware device. When a fourth thread arrives, S is already at 0. The resource pool is exhausted, so the system boundary holds. The thread halts in the wait logic until a printer finishes its task and signals a release. By simply altering the starting integer, the exact same logic structure scales from locking a single line of code to managing an entire fleet of hardware.
While the mathematical model is elegant, the basic pseudocode contains a performance flaw, the continuous while loop holding the waiting threads. This animated line graph demonstrates the cost of busy waiting, also known as spin locking. Because the thread is actively polling the integer thousands of times a second to see if it has changed, it monopolizes the CPU without executing any actual work. In an environment managing hundreds of background processes, burning raw CPU cycles just to wait in line is structurally unviable. Modern operating systems fix this by moving to a blocking implementation. The active polling loop is removed entirely and replaced with a data structure. The waiting process is formally blocked and placed into a queue, entering a sleep state. By putting the process to sleep rather than forcing it to spin, the system reclaims those hardware resources. This architectural change requires an upgrade to the signal operation. Incrementing the integer is no longer enough. The signal function must now actively reach into the queue and wake the sleeping process, returning it to an active execution state. Abstracting the wait logic into a sleeping queue trades brute force polling for efficient context switching. It is the engineering step that makes multi-threaded operating systems physically possible. This diagram illustrates the classical producer-consumer problem, a standard stress test for synchronization logic. One process continually adds data to a shared buffer, while another continually extracts it. To maintain synchronization, the system deploys 3 separate trackers: an empty semaphore counting available space, a full semaphore counting completed data, and a mutex locking the buffer during the transfer. Because semaphores are raw, low-level directives, they lack built-in safety nets. If a programmer incorrectly orders the wait commands between these 3 trackers, the logic collapses. The most notorious failure is deadlock. If the producer is waiting for the consumer to unlock the buffer, but the consumer is waiting for the producer to signal that data is ready, both enter a permanent freeze. Execution stops forever. Another major vulnerability is starvation. If the blocking queue is mismanaged, a steady stream of new processes can continually bypass an older waiting process, denying it access indefinitely. Systems also face priority inversion, a state where a low-priority background task successfully locks the semaphore, forcing a high-priority system process to wait for it to finish. Semaphores blindly obey the exact mathematics they are given. A single logical error in their sequencing can deadlock the entire operating system kernel. A common error in computer science is assuming that a binary semaphore and a mutex are the exact same thing. They are not. This table compares a semaphore against a mutex across 3 core metrics: value, ownership, and usage. The defining architectural difference lies in ownership. A mutex is strictly owned by the thread that acquires it. Only that specific thread has the authority to unlock it. A semaphore has no concept of ownership whatsoever. Any thread can issue a signal command to increment the integer, regardless of who decreased it. A mutex is a specialized lock built explicitly for mutual exclusion. A semaphore is a generalized signaling mechanism designed for broader resource counting. These concepts govern the active directives executing inside modern hardware right now. This C code snippet demonstrates POSIX threads, the standard API used in Unix-like operating systems today. The modern system calls semWait and semPost are direct translations of Dijkstra's original logic. Despite being low-level and difficult to debug, these atomic integer constructs remain the primary mechanism for maintaining system-wide synchronization in concurrent computing.